Hello, my name is Darren Thomas. I'm the Director of Educational Research Techniques. In this video, we're going to continue our journey learning about R, and we're going to focus primarily on about how vectors can work together, or variables that are vectors. We're going to take a look at two specific functions, and we're going to go through a basic example about how variables that are vectors can be combined into new variables in R. So you can see here that I'm already inside the R environment, and the first thing I need to do is I need to create a variable. So we're going to use an example throughout this series where we talk about selling clothes. So I'm going to make two little pretend one variable for now that's going to be a vector. So Sue sales. So we're going to make a variable called Sue sales, and it's going to be a vector. So we're going to use the function called C, which stands for concatenate. And inside this variable, we're going to put the sales of a person named Sue. So we put the Sue.sales. The dot is one way to separate the two words in this that make up this variable, but there are other ways. For example, you can use camel case like this, or you can also use what they call Pascal case like this. But for now, we're just going to use the dot and keep everything lowercase as so. Now we have to put the sales here. So each number is going to represent a day in which Sue sold some clothes. So 4, 2, 6, 7, 8, maybe a 1. So that is our variable. Now, of course, we have to save this. So we click run. And the thing I need to mention right now is that everything I'm doing it inside the little editor here, inside the script screen inside RStudio. This way it saves my code and I don't have to repeat it in future videos if necessary. And if I'm ever curious about what the values are in here, I can just type in the name of the variable, press enter, and it'll appear if I'm in the console. Now, let's say I'm curious, I wonder how much sales, or how many shoes, if you will, Sue has sold altogether. I could just do 4 plus 2 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 plus 1, but that's not how we do things in computer coding. We're going to create we're going to use what we call a function to tell us how many set of shoes Sue has sold altogether. So to do this, I type sum, which is the function, put in the parentheses, and I type in the name of the variable or the object. Remember, it could be called an object or a variable. And when I'm done with that, I press Control Enter, and in the console down below, it tells me how many shoes or how many items Sue has sold altogether, which is 28. So this is one of the benefits of the functions inside R, is that they are able to calculate things for you automatically. And this is not the only function that's available. I could also what if I want to know the mean, the average number of shoes that Sue is selling per day? I type in mean, Sue.sales, and then I press enter. So 4.66, or almost 5 shoes per day. But wait, there's more. Let's say that I don't have just Sue. Let's say that someone else is also selling shoes. It's one company, but 2 different employees. And we'll call the other person, we'll just call her, let's say, Jeannie. Jenny, that's better. Jenny.sales. And so this is my second object that I'm making, which is a vector variable. And let's say that, Jenny, she's a little bit more successful here, so those are the results for Jenny. And so now I have 2 values. I have 2 objects. I have Sue.sales, which is what Sue has been selling, how many items per day, if you will. And then I have Jenny.sales, how many items Jenny has been selling. Now, you can also take variables and you can multiply them using a process called vectorization. We've already talked about this. So let's say I'm the owner of the company and I want to say, look, Sue, every time you sell an item, I'll give you a $1 bonus. Jenny, every time you sell an item, I'll give you a $1.50 bonus. Maybe Jenny's selling more expensive products, if you will. So if I want to calculate this, of course, what I do is I can make a new variable called Sue commission. And I take Sue.sales and I multiply by, remember, I told her I was going to give her, we'll just say, I think I said $1. That's not going to be very interesting. I'll say $1.50. Now, notice how I don't know the results yet. The results for Sue.commission is stored inside the object called Sue.commission. If I want to see the actual answer, I have to type it in like so and press Control Enter. Now I can see what her bonus is right here for each individual item. But I'm not quite done yet. If I want to know how much we're going to pay her, I would have to use the sum. The sum command, Sue.commission. So there we go. I would pay her $42 for selling the number of items that you can see right here in number 1. And of course, I can repeat this process with Jenny. Jenny.commission, if you will. And then we'll do Jenny.sales, and we're going to pay her $2. Press enter. And then we repeat this process now where we call the Jenny.commission. There you go. And of course we want to sum it. And there you go, $82 for Jenny. You can see the results right here in the console down at the bottom. Now, let's say I'm curious. How much am I going to pay Jenny and Sue all together? If I really want to know this, what I'll do is this. I will take my two objects that I created here. Sue commission, which is how much I'm paying Sue, and Jenny commission. And again, using vectorization, I just combine them plus, and then you can see it right here. Oops. There you go. But of course I'm not done yet, because what this is doing is that it is combining these values right here. So it's taking the 9 plus the 4 and whatever it was multiplied for, etc., etc. So I know how much for each one, but if I want to know the total amount, I must use the sum function again. And remember, I had to put it in parentheses. And there you go. When you run it, you see that I have to pay altogether $124. This is probably going to be in dollars for those of you who are in America. So this is our video for today. Let me review slowly what we've gone through. In this particular video, we've looked at how we can create objects, also sometimes called variables, and how we can use functions. Functions are like pre-written little pieces of code that calculate things for you quickly. So we learned how to use the sum command, which is where it sums all the values inside a numeric object. So you can see here in line number 2. We also learned how to calculate the mean, which is again taking the values inside a numeric variable or numeric object, summing them up, and then dividing them by the total number of numbers inside the actual object. Then after that, we learned how we can take a actual object and multiply by a number using vectorization. So when I created my object here, Sue.commission, I took Sue.sales and I multiplied every value in Sue.sales, which is right here in number 1, by 1.5. This gave me a value for Sue commission that I then summed to see how much I have to pay Sue in terms of commission. We then repeated this process for Jenny, who had a different commission rate. She got $2 instead of $1.50. And so we took all the values in Jenny.sales right here, 9, 10, 6, 4, 3, and 9, and we multiplied them by 2. And that gave us the values for Jenny.commission. From there, we summed them. So we added up all these values after they were multiplied by 2 each time. We summed all these using the sum function again to see how much I would have to pay Jenny in terms of commission. And then if I wanted to know how much I'm paying my employees, Sue and Jenny, I now took the sum command and did Sue commission plus Jenny commission. Of course, that may not have been necessary because, oh wait, it is necessary. And so I then took that, and that's how I got my final answer. So we hope that this video was useful and that you were able to understand and appreciate what was happening inside the functions and how the variables worked, etc. So we want to thank you for listening. Take care.